Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio is brought to you by AnglersChoice.ca, the Angler's Choice in handmade soft plastics. Also presented to you by Handlebars Muskie Lures, Zing the Bling, Frantic Big Game Baits, Keith's Trophy Fishing, Fish NV Guide Service, and Husky Muskie Leaders. You're listening to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio. All right, folks, welcome to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio. For your listeners, welcome back. We're in Season 2, and like I said before, in my last episode, school's in, the season's starting to change, and on the line with us today is the new fly fisher, Mr. Bill Spicer. Bill, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here.
Now, fly fishing and seasonal patterns, what can you tell us about?
Well, seasonal patterns, for instance, when most people think of fly fishing as dry fly fishing and the fish coming up to the top, well, that's really only 10% of what fly fishing is. The seasonal is early in the season. We have our mayflies hatching, and that's when you get a lot of bug activity on top. That's when you would use a dry fly early in the season. But as the season progresses into summer, the hatches die off, and you have to go underneath the water, subsurface using minnow patterns or nymph patterns, and entice the fish that way.
Yeah. So basically, you're going to be working more streamer side patterns, or I guess weighted as well.
Yeah, subsurface. Whether it be a nymphal pattern imitating an immature mayfly that hasn't hatched, you can do that, or the minnow patterns or crayfish. We imitate it all.
So, watching the weather, Bill, what can you tell the listeners what to expect as the season progresses?
As far as weather's concerned?
Yeah.
Is that your question?
I guess so.
That's a crossover in all fishing. If you got weather coming, for instance, the cold front, which we just had go by yesterday, generally the fishing is really, really good just before a cold front hits. Mm-hmm. And when the cold front hits and the barometer drops off, the fish, when it changes suddenly like that, it'll put the fish down. As the barometer starts to rise and you get those, like today we got a nice blue sky day, fish are put off pretty much for a day or two. It has something to do with the air sac in their bellies that gets sore. That's what I've been told anyways, and it always seems to be before a cold front, you have excellent fishing. After cold front, it's tough. Not that you never get fish, but it's tough.
Yeah, it's that's what I noticed. We went out this past weekend, and it was high winds, partly cloudy, and but bluebird skies and sun, and yeah, they were kind of put off. It's strange how that the weather affects them, and you kind of have to put it in front of them and present it to them in a way that they're gonna take it.
Absolutely. The biggest thing I can tell anybody, and it crosses over again through fly fishing or spin casting, if you got a bad front that went through and you got your bluebird skies and the fish are bit off, slow down. That means you don't want anything quick going through the water. You want something slow that they can get a good look at and put it right in front of their noses. So you gotta brush up on where the fish are. Mm-hmm.
Now, we're here in the Grand River watershed. Where would be a good place to set up to start getting that run when the run starts?
On the Grand River?
Yeah.
You mean run of steelhead or run of salmon or?
Run of steelhead.
The steelhead, well, they're going to be coming very shortly, and some of the best places are your open waters. For instance, where the Grand River is in Caledonia, there's lots of open water there where you can find deep pockets where fish will rest. Anywhere you figure fish can get out of the main current, still be close enough for food, that's where you would check. Down in York is another good spot. Lots of water around there that you don't see it so much until you walk through it. All of a sudden you're up to your chest in water, and you didn't know that there was a hole there. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
That would be a good. In the Upper Grand River, in the Fergus area. Now that you're into regulated waters there.
Yeah.
Where it's single barbless hooks, no bait.
Mm-hmm. Which I appreciate.
Mean that it's just fly fishing. It means that you just can only use a single hook. So you could take for instance, a spinner and put a single hook on it and squash the barb, and you're legal. Same with I've seen people have lots of success with a small rapella. And just take the trebles off and put one single hook on the back, and you can fish there.
Yeah. Speaking of the Fergus fishery, I appreciate that the Grand River group decided to, I guess, for all lack and better word, protect that area, making it a single barbless hook fishery. You, as well as myself, know that pinching down the barb just gives that fish that extra fighting chance to survive the fight.
Absolutely,
when released.
Absolutely. And people think that you lose a lot of fish because of that. You don't.
No.
You fight a fish properly and keep the line tight, you're not going to lose the fish. I've fished barbless for years, and I can count on one hand the amount of times I've probably lost the fish because of a barb squash. But I mean, from all the fish that I've caught, it's never been an issue. As long as you fight and keep the line tight, you'll catch the fish.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest tips for novice anglers as well as avid anglers is you don't need a barb. You just need a sharp hook and steady tension.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then when you go to release the fish, the hook just slips out easily.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And the fish goes into the water back. The fish goes back into the water as if it was never caught in the first place.
Absolutely,
now,
absolutely. I've done it for years. You'll see it on the new fly fisher. We always use barbless hooks, and the fish swim away. And I can give you an example of that. I fished up in Nipigon for big brook trout, and one fish I caught, I was the third person to catch that because they tagged them up there on the first catch. It was caught 2 years before, and the week before I caught it. So that fish was caught 3 times and released, and that's how it shows you how much catch and release works.
And it does. I've heard it said that if you catch a bass and put a bass back, you've taught a bass something. But then there's other people that argue that the brain of a fish is so small, there's no way it could possibly absorb any knowledge of what just took place. However, when we're out there and we're on a pattern, like say a muddler pattern's working,
right,
and then all of a sudden it dies.
Right. Well, then they've switched off from what they're eating. Then that's generally what the case is. You're talking about people saying if we catch and release, it educates the fish.
Yeah.
Well, in a small fishery like I guess a trout stream that is stocked, yes, I agree. They learn a behavior if you're forced to put them back. They do learn a behavior, but for the most part, no.
All right.
I can bring back up Nipigon again. I caught that fish the third time it was caught, so they don't learn.
All right. Well, there's a myth busted by Bill Spicer, right here on Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio. Perfect. So, Bill, what can we expect for the new fly fisher? Are we changing seasons as well for the show?
Well, the big news we got is we got a new host, one of the new hosts, and before everybody says, are you retiring, Bill? No, I'm not retiring. Why would I retire from the best job in the world? But we have a new co-host on. Her name is Rebecca Red.
Wonderful.
And she is just incredible. She's a really, really well-balanced fisher person, and I think everybody's going to enjoy seeing her on the show.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. And Rebecca is also one of our pro staff for Fish Bum.
Oh, she is.
Outfitters.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Any Canadian plugs you'd like to give?
Well, I did a whole tour of northern Ontario again this year.
Mm-hmm.
Got some giant pike at Kasagami. Cag Lake was just pike haven. I got some really good smallmouth bass in northwestern Ontario.
Nice.
It's a drive-to location, so just keep an eye on the New Fly Fisher, and you're going to see all this.
Wonderful. And, folks, you can catch the New Fly Fisher on Rogers Cable on channel 426. And I'm not sure what the Bell channel is because, well, I'm not a subscriber. But New Fly Fisher with Bill Spicer. And what nights is it on WFN, Bill?
It's on Tuesday nights at 9:30.
Tuesday nights at 9:30. All right. Well, Bill, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for your knowledge, and I hope our listeners were able to take away something from this candid discussion. And we'll see you on the water.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hey folks, if you like what you hear on Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio, be sure to drop us a line at benmcquinney@yahoo.com. Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio is brought to you by anglerschoice.ca, the Angler's Choice in handmade soft plastics. Also presented to you by Handlebars Muskie Lures, Zing the Bling, Frantic Big Game Baits, Keith's Trophy Fishing, Fish NV Guide Service, and Husky Muskie Leaders. You're listening to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio.
All right, folks, welcome to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio. My guest this evening is Northman Outdoors, and they consist of Brandon, Trevor, and Chad. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
Now, you guys are the creator of the new muskie lure called the Big Dirty, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about it.
The Big Dirty is probably the biggest thing to happen to bucktails since the double tens, or double big blades, if you will. It's revolutionary in a sense that it combines a bucktail with this new spoontail that we have going that no one's ever seen before.
Basically what we wanted to do is create something to trigger fish. Had a lot of follows over the years where fish would come in hot and then just kind of peel off at the boat. So we were looking for some extra action with the spoon that we added on the back. Adds that extra action to hopefully trigger fish to get to the boat.
Okay. I apologize if you guys heard that that revving engine out front my my house here in Waterloo, but I think I have company. Where can I find a picture of this so I could post it on Twitter, folks? I'm going to post it on my Twitter feed at Ben McQuinney Outdoors, and you can check that out. Where can I find a picture there, boys?
You can go and check out our Facebook page, Northman Outdoors, and just grab a picture off of there. And you can follow us on Twitter as well, at Northman Outdoor. We were limited to characters there, but our title is Northman Outdoors on Twitter anyway. So we're on Instagram too, Northman Outdoors as well.
What? Why can't I find this?
On Facebook?
Yeah. Is it M-A-N or M-E-N?
M-E-N.
M-E-N. Okay. And tell us a little bit about the logo design. That's the scruffy bearded man.
Well,
who's that resembling?
What's that?
Which of you is that resembling? Is that Brandon that it resembles?
No, that's actually a good buddy of ours.
He's about as burly as they come.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to post this on my...
somewhere up north right now, chopping down a tree and having a drink.
The Big Dirty. Here we go. I'm going to throw it up on the Twitter for folks to see this. Now, you guys are Canadian, and you're out of Cambridge, Ontario, correct?
Kitchener-Waterloo.
Kitchener-Waterloo. Hey!
These guys, unfortunately, are from Kitchener.
Okay, well that we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Hey, it's okay. We're broadcasting from Waterloo, so that's good. So we gotta stick together.
It's all the same. Tri-City.
There you go. So what was the overall idea behind throwing that spoon on? Because I remember talking to you guys at the Classic, and I said if there was ever a lure that I would want to throw in my prop wash, it was the Big Dirty, because of that spoon that you have on the end.
Yeah, I mean, it just adds that extra triggering action to the bait. It was a few years ago when, I don't know if we just saw the two different components laying in the boat and decided to add them, but we were having the toughest time getting any fish to commit, whether it was out from the boat or boat side in the figure eight, but we decided to try to add a little something extra to our bucktails, and from there we came to the Big Dirty, and the last couple of years it's evolved into what it is now. We experimented with a bunch of different spoons and lengths and everything from swivels to weight of the bait, but it's all come together now. So the fish that seem to be following our bucktails to the boat and turning away are now starting to commit, and we're getting them to eat at boat side. And I mean, there's catching fish, so we're doing something right.
So you're catching fish with it. Well, that's all that counts, really, right? That's the proof in the pudding right there that it works.
That's what it's all about.
Well, there it is. It's up on my Twitter feed right now, folks. It is exactly what it is. It is dirty looking. That spoon there on the back, it does give that extra added action with the double. Now, are you guys using double 10s or double 12s or?
We make it in 8s, 10s, and 12s. So we have 3 different sizes that we're making, and the 8s and the 10s use the same or use smaller spoons, but they're different. And then the 12s is kind of more for trolling, and it has a monster spoon on it just to give it more of that dirty action, especially in the prop wash.
Especially in the prop wash. That's right. Where can folks can they buy direct from the webpage?
The webpage is still in development.
Okay.
We're hoping to launch it soon. Now, the best way is to contact us through Facebook or email, northmanoutdoors@gmail.com, and we can just work out an order from there. So, I mean, and we have multiple ways of getting in touch with us right now. So,
awesome. There you have it, folks. Chad, Trevor, and Brandon, the Northman Outdoors dynamic trio, bring you another Canadian-made bait, the Big Dirty. And you can check it out at Northman Outdoors. Any sponsors or anybody you want to plug?
Not sponsors necessarily, but we do have lots of guys that are giving us pointers and helping us out, and those guys they'll get named when the time comes.
yeah, they know who they are, though.
All right. Now you guys are also part of the Muskies Canada, correct?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Muskies Canada, there's a good plug right there. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for Chad, Brandon, and Trevor. And tell Ryan, stay out of my cookies. And we'll see you. Thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
Take your time.
All right, folks, now it's time for On the Water with the Bassasins.
We are Rob and Rob, and you are on the water with the Bassasins. We've been asked how we capture such unique and awesome photos without having a professional photographer.
One of the hardest things to do is to take that split second to recover from the excitement of the fight. A couple of deep breaths, fix your head, find the right stance, and get ready for the biggest smile.
As the person snapping the shots, make sure to take a bunch and from different angles. Sometimes it's the last random snap at the end that is the gem.
Remember to always show the most respect to the fish and make the best out of those few seconds. They could be the highlight of your day.
Until next time on the water with the Bassasins, tight lines.
Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio is brought to you by AnglersChoice.ca, the Angler's Choice in handmade soft plastics. Also presented to you by Handlebars Muskie Lures, Zing the Bling, Frantic Big Game Baits, Keith's Trophy Fishing, Fish NV Guide Service, and Husky Muskie Leaders. You're listening to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio.